Okaeri nasai minasan. Today we are gonna talk about Ohsama Sentai King-Ohger versus Kyoryuger. I'm not sure what is the full name of Kyoryuger, but we're just gonna go with it because this is a really fantastic episode as well. I'm not gonna call it a movie, even though it is kind of like a 46-minute long episode. So I think this is a really fantastic thing that Ohsama Sentai is actually giving us, blessing us with this gift, because this is all the missing plot from the Kyoryuger side of the story in the overarching crossover between Ohsama and Kyoryuger. And I just love it, man. I love every single part of this. Like, I love how it actually fixes every question that we have. It's like how did Prince go to the present day? How did everything happen? What is the entire circle that happened itself? Okay, so we actually get to see a really amazing monster form from Gira itself. The Galactic Insect King Gira is so fantastic. I love the design of the monster suit. It looks amazing, man. Like, I really love it. Hopefully someone actually cosplay that and I can take a photo with it. It's gonna be fantastic, and it is proven that this movie is canon to the timeline itself, and that is another amazing thing regarding this movie. When a movie is canon to the series, I call it an extra episode. Okay, so that is really subarashi, and this entire movie also served as the origin story of Prince and the conclusion for, like I said, the crossover of Kyoryuger into the story of Ohsama Sentai. But can you really say is that the story of this Ohsama Sentai and Kyoryuger to be a two separate series? I felt like at the end of the day, they can actually be one of the same, because at the end of the day they are fighting the same villain, and they even kind of like close up one plot hole that I always wondered, like, what actually happened to that villain, which is MNG Minogan. Okay, like I really wonder, like, hey, are they just gonna let Minogan freeze forever in time until future comes again? Like, I think in the finale of the Ohsama Sentai episode, I actually give the idea and give the possibility of maybe in the 10th year anniversary of Ohsama Sentai, the villain can actually come out from the frozen Minogan, and then he's gonna be the gateway, the opening act of the movie. But now that we have Kyoryuger and they already used the Minogan plot to send King into another timeline of the story, so we're not sure how the story is gonna progress. But it really makes me wonder, is like all this time travel stuff, like what is the actual law behind the time travel in Ohsama Sentai versus Kyoryuger? Because it is like there's a possibility that we actually are seeing a multiple timeline and like parallel world. Is it like the Dragon Ball time travel, or is it like Back to the Future time travel? I think that is the only two time travel that I can actually give you. So I'm not sure which one, okay? But I think it does seems to be like the Dragon Ball version of the time travel itself. Because if it is not that case, then, you know, like we won't actually get to see a Gira that is able to help King with his journey to find Prince once again. But then again, at the same time, you could actually wonder, like, how what I'm about to say is a little bit stupid. I was kind of reminded of the answer of the question that I wanted to say. But so let me just move on to talk about another thing. Okay, so I think the dark timeline, let's call it the dark timeline, I think is really refreshing to see every single of the Ohsama Sentai to act very differently from what they actually usually act. Like, we actually get to see Jeremy to be the war tour guy, and then Yama become kind of like a weak nerd because he wanted to rule over Nagosopa, but he failed. And then we get to see Himeno become the girl that sells the flower, but at the end of the day, she got so hungry, and she actually is the flower that she's gonna sell. So that is really interesting as well. But I think the most interesting one is definitely gonna be Rita, where she actually become an idol of freedom. in Gokhan itself. Okay, so really fantastic stuff. But then again, at the same time, because of what happened to Himeno, it really makes me wonder, like, why is Mofun, like, why does Mofun still exist if Himeno is no longer the queen of Ishabana itself? Okay, so but then again, it does make sense, because the reason why Himeno actually becomes the beggar type of character is because she used all the resources of the country, and then people just kick her out of the royalty, something like that. Okay, so really fantastic stuff we actually get to see here. But yeah, I think there's a lot of plot holes, but let us not talk about those things. So really fantastic stuff we actually get to see from this dark timeline. But then again, we need to talk about Uchi Semi. I'm not sure what is his name actually. Like, let's just call him Uchi. Okay, so Uchi is the main reason why we actually got the evil king Jakuno or Galactic Insect King Gira itself. Okay, really amazing, because that he actually chooses to fit a big ball, a giant ball of rainbow jewelry to Gira itself, and that is what causes Gira to have too much of the sugar soul in his body, and then he transformed into the killing machine that he was actually meant to be. So that is really interesting. I really love how things is actually going forward in the story itself. But sadly, by the end of the story, I felt like the anniversary form wasn't really highlighted in the movie itself. Like I really hope that the anniversary form and movie and weapon is much more significant to the plot itself, because right now it really felt like kind of like a wardrobe change, a weapon change, and that's it. It doesn't add anything to the plot itself. But then again, this is a kid show, this is a Sentai show. I understand that not everything needs to be a part of the plot itself, and I think that is also what Dawn Brothers is trying to tell us at the beginning of the reason why Dawn Brothers is put at the front of this movie before we have this movie is because, like, there's an argument, okay, like the argument between, like, what the name again, like I don't know, one of the Oni sister, and then versus Rita Kanisuka itself. Like, do we need a deep plot, or we only focus on selling the movie to kids? Okay, like it's really debatable. But Kyoryuger, I think it makes a perfect balance in the both of them. Like, there's a little bit of humor and a lot of seriousness, and just both of them like working together with one another is so fantastic. It is amazing. So if you haven't watched the movie yet, I think definitely go check it out and let me know in the comment section below what do you actually think of the movie itself. Okay, so I think that is pretty much it from me, and I really love how King is actually the one that take the main stage in the story on the second half of the story rather than Uchi or even Prince, because I felt like if you really want to call this an anniversary episode, this definitely, we need more of the OG cast rather than, you know, like the other random new kid in the block kind of deal. So fantastic stuff here. But by the end of the movie, we actually get to see that once you start to mess with time messes back to you. Okay, like no matter how you want to fix things and all those stuff, it's never gonna be the same again. So I think that is like part of the beauty of the story of time travel, is like it is a never ending cycle of retrying, and at the end of the day you just have to accept that it's never gonna be back, it's never gonna be the same again. So yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be really interesting to see a time travel story again in the future of the Sentai series. But right now I think it's time to say goodbye officially for Ohsama Sentai. I don't think Ohsama is gonna make an appearance in the near future. I don't think Ohsama Sentai is gonna make an appearance in Bakuage Sentai Boom Boom Ja, but we might actually get a crossover. Okay, we might and might not. Well, I'm not sure. Okay, because it's very hard to say, because like what happened with Ohsama Sentai and Dawn Brothers, like they have no connection at all whatsoever, and suddenly announcement, Ohsama Sentai versus Dom Brothers. So never say never, but maybe 1 year later we are gonna see it happening when Bakuage Sentai Boom Boom Ja finish airing. Okay, so with that being said, that is all from me regarding Ohsama Sentai versus Kyoryuger. It is a dumb and fun journey where we actually get to see Uchi and Yaoi going through a lot of time travel shenanigans. Okay, but with that being said, that is all. Hope you enjoy. If you like what you see, you know what to do, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Goodbye.